Alright guys, welcome back to another video about the Subnautica Precursor caches. So the theory I came up with last episode gained quite a bit of traction that I was not expecting at all. So I just want to talk about it a little bit, talk about why I think it is a possible theory and why it may not be possible. But before I do that, let me state it is a theory. Don't really have there is no proof whether it is true or not, and it's pretty much just what I believe from certain things. So I will leave it up to you guys whether you believe it or not, and if you disagree, that's completely fine. Everybody has a right to their own opinion. So the first thing with the Precursor cache here, which makes it pretty interesting, is in the Discord, I think it was a week ago, one of the developers, Abraxas, said that precursors are skull. Skull, you know, generally meaning dead. We don't know if they are all dead or if just some of them are dead. We don't know how they died. We don't know if the skull stands for, like, the fact that they may be in a cryostasis or something like that. So on top of that, we need a little information, right? So the ion crystals here, if we go into our PDA, and I believe it is planetary geology, and we look in ion crystals, these alien cubes each store the equivalent energy of a small nuclear detonation. The alien technology is able to keep the stored atoms in a permanently stable state. However, under the right conditions, the reaction could be recatalyzed, the energy released in a controlled manner. They were likely used as batteries, storing power generated at the main reactor and then transported wherever they were needed. And then, you know, the possible source of escaping. So that's pretty interesting. I do know in a forum post, Comical had said that an idea was they have the ion crystals here in order to, you know, keep the bases safe. So that way, if one of these were to explode randomly, they didn't lose the entire base. Pretty good theory. However, the PDA does say right here, in a permanently stable state, and there are 3 in the precursor gun. So I personally don't think that is a sound theory. And so the main thing that really gets me is the terminal data, right? We saw this in the last episode, we read it. The terminal data is, if you haven't seen it, in data downloads, alien data, data fragment. It says unknown language, attempting translation, translation incomplete, partial translation follows. They that joined the grand procession across the deep void, they that tarried in pursuit of deeper perception, they that journeyed, then found conclusion and were left behind, they that were remembered, are remembered. Now, Andrew Jones did say that it is still a placeholder. And don't take it as lore just yet. I just had to rattle something off that was more fitting so I could check it on. Now, what is interesting is he doesn't completely deny that, you know, it is part of the lore. He just says don't take it as lore just yet. And he does say that he needed something that is fitting. So it is close to what it's supposed to be, but not exactly what it is supposed to be. If you understand what I'm trying to say. So yes, it is a placeholder. Yes, it is pretty much irrelevant, but the fact that he said that he had to put something that is fitting there really gets to me as well. And then Corey Strader said that the cache is just the generic name we are using for any of these kinds of small precursor areas where you can get loot. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it is specifically a storage room or area. It just means a place you can get loot. So the only actual stipulation there is that there's loot at these locations, and then these locations could be anything, like a graveyard or a cemetery. So, with all that being said, there is a PDA about the Disease Research Facility. I need to find it here. It's alien data, and then it's Disease Research Facility here. This device contains functional information regarding a second alien facility on the planet. This is the one in the Lost River. So right here, Disease Research Facility, Personnel 7. That's all we really need to read. So, there are 7, there are 6 here. Now, people have said, like even Comical has said, that the data terminal here could represent the 7th person, or personnel. I don't think that this holds the 7th person. I think what maybe happened is they had seven people. 6 died because of the Karar infection, and the 7th one left the planet, or is in cryostasis somewhere else in one of the other facilities that aren't in the game yet. And the reason why I personally think this is, if we go to the fragment, now this is, I have to say this again, this is just a placeholder. It is not confirmed lore yet or anything, so it's just a placeholder. They that joined the grand procession across the deep void. I take that as like a journey across space, because the precursors aren't originally from this planet. They that tarried in the pursuit of deeper perception. I feel like that is hinting at the Karar infection, that they tried to cure it. And then they that journeyed, then found conclusion, and were left behind. I think they that journeyed, is them journeying to try and find the cure for it, and found conclusion. They died. The 6 of them died. And then the 7th one left them behind, they that are remembered. So the 7th one buried them, or whatever here, put the data terminal, and then left the planet because they couldn't cure the Karar infection. I think that's what it is. I don't think that the precursors are the ion crystals themselves. I think it is a decoration like flowers or whatnot. But, like I said, I could be wrong. It is just a theory that is out there. It is very set up like memorial-wise. One thing that is pretty interesting to me, though, is that if this is a storage room, why is it so far away from a base? Like, this is literally almost on the opposite side of the map. Why would they put a storage unit on the other side of the map when they have precursor ion crystals there? Like, that's something that I don't understand. I don't quite get. Like, why would you have that? That's why Comical said that if one were to explode, it would save the base, which makes a lot of sense. But I don't know. The fact that there are ion crystals there already throws it off for me just a little. Okay, so we talked about the reasons why it can be a cemetery or memorial type deal. We need to talk about the reasons why it's not. Now, there aren't as many reasons, but they are definitely more significant compared to the other ones. And that's probably more crucial to the theory than anything else. The first one is being that the data terminal is just a placeholder. It is simply just a placeholder. It's not actually going to be there, and it pretty much means absolutely nothing. However, with Andrew saying that it is fitting, I take that as it's not too far off, just not exactly what it needs to be. For other people, they will take it as it's completely irrelevant and a useless piece of information, which is probably how it should be taken. So that is a absolutely huge reason why this could not be a cemetery or a memorial of some sort. And then our second reason is just because we have a PDA saying that there were 7 personnel in the disease research facility doesn't really mean anything. Now, it could mean that there were 6 people and then the 7th person survived. Maybe they died when the sea dragon escaped, and that makes perfect sense. However, the fact that only 6 precursors had died throughout the entire time they were here, and that there were only 7 throughout the entire time we're here, just seems illogical. Like, the fact that there would only be 7, it just seems, yeah, it doesn't seem right. So, because you can't imagine that only people from the disease facility died. There had to be some, like, throughout the time they were here. We don't know how long they live, but you could almost, you know, assume that they do have some lifespan, and that some of them would have died in the time that they were here, either from the Kara or just from, you know, natural reasons. So the fact that there would only be 6, unless they only do a memorial when they die in a certain way, we honestly have no idea. And that's pretty much the third reason why it could not be a cemetery or a memorial of some type, is the fact that we just really don't have enough information about the precursors, and we don't know how many were on this planet. All we know is there were 7 in the disease facility, and that's pretty much it. We don't know how many ran the gun. We don't know how many were in the second research facility. That's pretty much it. That's all we know. And that is a huge thing. Because the fact that we don't know so much, we could make so many different guesses about how it should be or how it was, and we could be completely wrong every time. We won't know until the full information is released. So it's only really 3 examples. I'm sure there are definitely more that I am missing, but they are 3 very great examples that put a very, you know, big hole in the theory itself. Me personally, I still believe it is a graveyard or memorial of some sort. But, you know, that's the information we have. So I just want to go over why I think it is and why it isn't, so that way you guys have the information. On a completely different side note, you guys absolutely crushed it, and I have to thank you again. Like, you guys are amazing. Like I said in the last video, I really don't like trying to be a sellout. It is the main thing I hate about YouTube, but they did update how they do recommendations, and you guys in the last video within 24 hours had over 200 likes and 0 dislikes. You guys are freaking amazing. Like, I think that's almost a record for us on this channel. That's pretty crazy. And I appreciate it so much. You guys are awesome. You show great support. You leave awesome comments. And yeah, I just want to give a big thank you to all of you. So, as always, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you enjoy any of the YouTubers out there, their videos, make sure you like their videos as well. If you are not a current subscriber, please go ahead and subscribe, so that way you can keep up to date with all of the Subnautica content. And as always, guys, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. To do them or anything, but he does have the clumsy, the yawn, the head scratch, and everything. Oh, there! Look at that. That was cool. The last time I spawned him in, actually, like, it took him like 20 minutes before he actually did something. So that's the fast one there.